And I, Lynn Petrovic, the Executive Director of Casa Santa Cruz.
We want to welcome everybody to the Love of Children's Luncheon. And can you hear me all right in back?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that. So what do you think of this venue?
Yay!
I played golf here one time, and it was an out-of-the-world experience. I had gone where no man had gone before. And when I returned to the pro shop later that evening, the staff that was still here presented me with a gift. It was a deck of cards and a booklet on how to play solitaire.
You can tell why we've invited Bob to speak. We are so glad to see you all here today. Thank you so much for coming to our luncheon. At Casa, we match volunteer court-appointed advocates one-to-one with children, youth, and babies who have been abused or neglected, or whose behavior is such that the courts have had to step in and make that child, youth, or baby a dependent or a ward of the court. Our advocates stand with and by and advocate for our children while they are under the jurisdiction of the court.
The Friends of Casa Auxiliary is an organization who works to support the staff of Casa. And if you spend any time working with that staff, you know that any one of them is capable of leading tall buildings. By coming to today's luncheon, you have shown your support for Casa and the support of the Children's Fund. The proceeds from this one and any donations that are received go directly into the fund and are used exclusively for the children in the Casa program.
We would like to give a very, very big and warm shout out and thank you to the Friends of Casa, our wonderful auxiliary, to throw today's luncheon. As Bob said, this luncheon will pay for an entire year of funding for our Children's Fund. And I want us to just stop and think about that for a second. At Casa, we offer an advocate to every child who becomes a dependent of the court. And this luncheon will pay for those children for an entire year to have things that they otherwise would have to do without. Things that are so important to their development, such as extracurricular activities, first sofa for your first apartment, that special outfit for that special event. Guys, we know how important this is to people's development, right? And even summer camp. This luncheon will pay for a year of that. We'd like to thank, and as Bob says, the money goes directly to the kids. Directly to the kids, right? We would like to thank the Friends of Casa for everything that they have done. They fundraise for this fund for us. So if you have ever been a friend of Casa, or you are currently a member of our auxiliary, the Friends of Casa, please stand up so we can give you our thanks. We'd like Patsy Marinelli to continue to be standing. Patsy is the chair of this year's luncheon, and so we'd like to give her a special thank you. And one other thing, thank you. I'd like to recognize Bob, who is coming to the end of his term as the Friends chairperson. It's been wonderful, Bob, serving with you, and thank you for all the laughs and the smiles.
One thing we do with the Children's Fund is that we work with the advocates and the staff regarding providing the funding and understanding that the funding is for the needs of the children, not for their wants. There's a big importance, and that's why this fundraising And the donations that we received today are so important. We're serving needs in a very important cause.
We have a great lineup of speakers for you today. After Bob and I are done saying thank you to everybody, we're going to welcome our Dependency Court Judge, Judge Small, up, and then we're going to get two. We're going to hear from two advocates, and finally one of our youth who is very near and dear to our hearts. Before we get to that, I would like to give a shout out to our very, very faithful sponsors. They are, you can hold your applause to the end, State Federal Credit Union, Driscoll's Charitable Giving, John Lear and Family, Power Valley Printing, Esther Sylvain, Cakes with Care, they make cupcakes, Keeping It Poppin', they make Santa Cruz County Bank, our very, very faithful sponsor. Okay, my turn now. We'd like to give a very, very big shout out to our advocates. CASA is fueled, it exists to support advocates, volunteer advocates who give their heart and their time to our children and our youth. Thank you. If you've ever been or are currently an advocate, please give us a big wave. We have two of our original advocates from 30 years ago over there, just did. We would also like to recognize our staff, our very talented, dedicated, and mission-driven staff. If you are or have ever been a member of CASA staff, please stand up. Give a warm welcome to our former executive director, Susan. And we'd also like to recognize our board of directors. Yeah, you guys, I can't even begin to say enough about how thankful I am for everything that you have done that was done so many years ago for CASA and continues today. If you've ever been a member of our board of directors, please stand up, or are currently a member of our board of directors, please stand up. No, Bob's supposed to say thank you to all of you. Bob, you're supposed to say thank you for coming. Again.
Thank you for coming. Okay. Lynn will introduce our speakers.
We are so very grateful to each and every one of you for supporting our children. We're now going to welcome up Judge Small. We have been lucky and privileged to have Judge as our Dependency Court Judge for the last 4 years. He is well known for presiding over a trauma-informed court and for really getting to know each family that comes in front of him. And as I was going around talking today to somebody, Judge Small was walking towards us, and one of my former advocates said, "Oh my gosh, we just love him." Please welcome Judge Small.
Well, that was a little over the top. So I'm Tim Schmall. The one constant in life is change. 3 years ago, I attended the last luncheon like this that we had. And I was a brand new juvenile dependency judge at the time and was looking forward to attending every year. The next month, we threw a pandemic, and that changed everything in terms of how our courts did business, juvenile justice with Judge Guy, the juvenile dependency side. You know, you have to adapt and change, and these days in juvenile dependency, one good thing that came out of it is a hybrid court. We always want people to be there in person because it's much more meaningful, but we were required to pivot into a virtual court with people initially participating solely remotely using video conferencing technology. But these days, we kept the video option, and there are a lot more court attendees as a result. So personally, I see long-term, I'm never going to abandon hybrid court in juvenile dependency. I think it's a good and positive thing. In the last 3 years and a couple of months, I have come to so appreciate the amazing people who agree to serve as advocates in the CASA program. The dedication that they show, the incredible value, the wonderful organization that CASA is, and I've had the privilege of getting to work closely with a lot of these people. One of my dawning realizations over the last year, the obvious value of a CASA is the role that they play in the lives of the youth who they're assisting. My dawning realization over the last year is the wonderful role that CASAs can play in dependency in helping and supporting the parents in successfully reunifying with their children. And that can be just such a critical element. Every time I preside over a detention hearing, I tell the parents that the goal in juvenile dependency is not to pull families apart, it's to safely bring them back together, and that is the goal. Because more times than not, that would be the best possible outcome for the children. And our CASAs do a wonderful job of that. The one constant in life is change. And the biggest change that's happened with our juvenile justice in a long time is this person over here, Judge Janine Dye, changing assignments. I am not giving her a trophy or an award today because then I borrowed this out of her chambers next door to mine. By the way, she doesn't need any more of these because it looks like a trophy room. So it took me a long time to find this. 9.5 years ago, she was honored at a CASA event for the 6 years of dedication as the juvenile dependency judge for our county. Then she went to Santa Cruz for a while. She helped launch the program. She was our presiding judge. And she's been in a juvenile role, having come back. I've had the privilege of having her as my partner for the last 3 years and a couple of months. She's been our juvenile justice judge. But our court has needs. Our bench has changed a lot in the relatively short half-decade that I've been one of the 12 judges for our county. We've lost a number of colleagues. We're becoming a younger and more vibrant bench. But we have some critical needs, and felony assignments are critical. Half of our judges preside over criminal assignments. That's just our court's need. We have 2 juvenile judges. We have 2 family court judges. And then, we have a civil division, and the need was great. And Judge Guy agreed to step up and fill one of the felony assignments. But when she departs in 3 weeks, it will leave a huge void. Not just in terms of, her knowledge and skill set and dedication and her institutional memory, but really a relational void. Everybody knows her. By the way, nobody knows who the heck I am. I don't even know why I got a smattering of applause in the middle. people would ask, "Oh, are you the new judge?" I've been in this assignment. I'm in my 4th year. Nobody has a clue who I am. But everybody knows who Judge Janine Guy is, and it will leave a void. The one constant in life is change, and that's someone's going to move into that assignment. And a young man by the name of Judge Jerry Van Leeuwen, he's going to be excellent in the role of juvenile justice. He is just an outstanding human being. Someone like me pales in comparison to the value as a human being that Jerry Van Leeuwen has. He also served as one of the juvenile justice attorneys in the public defender's office for a number of years. So he's going to relatively hit the ground running. Another wonderful change is the funding that CASA's received for CASA's in juvenile justice. And Judge Guy was talking at our table about the number of referrals that she has made just in the past week. So we cover for each other when the other person is out. And I figured out recently, I've done 4.5 months as the juvenile justice judge over the last 3 years. So I've gotten to know those youths a lot. And I can tell you, this is significant. That we're going to be able to have CASAs dedicated to work with these kids. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of heart for the juvenile dependency kids, but I can see that a lot of these juvenile justice kids have a far greater need for that adult presence that CASA will be able to provide. So let's see, did I go over my 5-minute limit? Oh wait, I got a 12:30 tea time, so I guess I should. Wait, where's my MC? I can't introduce the next person. But anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Judge Small, for the update from the court and for the very kind words. And I was doing some quick math while you were talking. I think that I heard that Judge Guy has been a juvenile court judge for 12 years.
Close enough.
Close enough, okay, that's good. So please, another round of applause. And you cannot understate what she has done for our youth in this county. Honestly, she comes at her job with compassion, caring, authenticity. You're amazing. Thank you. I would now like to call up one of our advocates, Pia Moravia. Pia, here we are, Pia. We are so very grateful, Pia, for the tenacious support that you have given a family during their journey through the dependency court system. I know you all will be amazed at the story of this courageous and strong family that Pia supported. Please come on up, Pia.
As you know, my name is Pia. I'm among the newest CASA volunteers, and I just completed my first case. I was assigned, as my first case, I was assigned 2 teenage sisters and inherited their little 5-year-old brother to the case. And I remember asking, "Are you sure you're going to give me 2? It's my first." And they said, "No problem." And then when the little 5-year-old came along, it just felt right. They were in the system for quite a while, but I got involved towards the end for the family reunification. I've been asked to come up here today to share a story about a family and a refrigerator. And I said, "You sure you want me to talk about a refrigerator?" Yes. My personal background has been in the business arena, planning corporate events, and trust me, I've seen a lot of fridges in my day. And I just walked by, and here I am speaking to you as colleagues, just what a fridge could truly mean to a family and to the future of Oakland and this country and what it stands for. I've been really stressing to speak today, but needed to let you know how important the Children's Fund is. The kiddos were being shuttled back and forth between grandma's, their aunt's house. The father was a hard-working man who fought to keep his girls with him. He inherited a home from his dad that wasn't suitable for the kiddos. There was mold in the bathroom, lots of clutter. The father was a hoarder. The girls needed to have their own rooms, being teenagers and all. And one of the rooms was a storage area that needed to be cleared out to make room for them. The amazing social worker that I worked with who was part of the case. She had a list of what was needed to make her house a home. And one of those things was an apartment-sized fridge. So I took that out. I called my casa supervisor, Clint, to see if there's anything we can do to help this family, and was given a budget of $325, which started my shopping adventure. Not sure if you ever shopped for an apartment-sized fridge. Anyway, it wasn't easily found. I tried all the box stores, looked up for sales, floor samples, couldn't find anything. So I used to stop by the Habitat for Humanity retail shop in Watsonville quite a few times a week to see if anything, if they had a fridge that we could purchase. And they had everything except the size we needed. They had beautiful double doors, top fridge, bottom freezer. You know, they had it all except the one we needed. So I was on a mission to find the perfect one, but was getting discouraged after all the hunting. So, sorry. So one day I was driving by Main Street, and then I was getting discouraged. And I thought to myself, should I stop? Should I not stop? Should I stop? So you know what? I'm gonna walk in. So I walked in, and I walked into where the fridges are. There's this brand new Whirlpool fridge sitting there. And I got to this at a higher price than the $325 I was getting. And I took the measurements, and I spoke to the saleswoman, and she mentioned that someone just dropped it off an hour ago. They decided that it wasn't right for their kitchen, and they sent in a brand new fridge. It still had the tabs on, and a stove. So all we needed was the fridge. So after negotiating, we settled on the $325, all inclusive except for delivery, which was no problem, because once I mentioned to the dad that I finally found one, he was able to get a friend's truck and picked it up the following morning. To me, the refrigerator, when I was asked to speak about a refrigerator, it's an important part of a home. And this all happened before Thanksgiving. For me, food, home, family, they sort of all go together. So, in closing, I'd like to thank you for all you do, and that you're all making a difference. And I will never walk by a fridge again without giving you a wink. It was an adventure. And then I also wanted to read some of the texts I got from the dad. And it's about 6 of them about a fridge. Thank you again, Pia. You guys are so sweet, and I appreciate everything. 2 days later, there you go again. Thank you again. Thank you again here for the fridge. It is really beautiful, and you don't know how happy I am. So thank you. I thank you again. The fourth, I want to say thank you for the fridge again. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and happy holidays from my family to yours. So thank you.
Being able to feed your kids is something that I think every parent in this room knows is a visceral need, right? And I'm so humbled that we were able to support this family and this father in being able to achieve that. And thank you for the many hours of searching for the right size refrigerator. Yeah, and I would just like to say there's so much more to the story of Kia's support. She was tenaciously supported his father as he did so much for his children. And we are humbled to have been able to support Kia through that journey. I would now like to call up Teresa Delfino. Teresa was recently a CASA for one of three siblings. She has a wonderful story. She really showed up in a big way for her young person. I know you're going to be really moved when you hear about their story. Please come on up, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. CASA has always been one of my favorite organizations, but I didn't realize how incredible CASA was until I was an advocate. My kiddo was in the 5th grade when I first met her in 2020. She wasn't able to live at home. She was living with her grandmother. She was depressed and had anxiety. It was during COVID. She was very isolated, as we all were. Later, her father joined her at her grandmother's, along with her 2 sisters. The girls hadn't gone to school for the previous 6 months. That fall, remote learning started. My co-CASAs and I made sure the girls had Chromebooks from their school and helped them log in so they can attend remotely. We helped Dad with the paperwork that he needed to have services come out since he couldn't drive. We often brought them arts and crafts projects. The following school year, they were going back for in-person learning, and we were able to go back to school shopping with them. It was our first outing away from home. We went out to lunch and to Target to shop. That's where I first noticed my kiddo starting to come out of her shell. She was trying on clothes and developing her own style. Last fall, she headed to middle school and wanted to have clothes that the other girls wore. She wanted to go to the mall. Thanks to CASA's Children's Fund, we were able to go. She explored all the shops, trying things on. She had style. I felt like a fairy godmother. She really blossomed. It was amazing to witness. I was able to get her what she needed. Her father couldn't drive, and the bus was very difficult for him. His youngest has autism. He was always very appreciative of us and said we gave his daughters a childhood. He would always send texts similarly to Pia's dad, just very appreciative and just really heartfelt. CASA provided a bike for my gal, and I was able to teach her how to ride. A few months ago, we went to Monterey and rode along the bike path. We also enjoyed lunch on the wharf. We talked about college that day. I told her I'd help her apply for scholarships when it's time. I've done it with my daughter, and I have experience to help her. We even looked at colleges on my phone that day. She does well in school now. She's thriving and very bright. I'm grateful that I was able to spend time with her. The most memorable visit was at the mall. Letting her pick out what she wanted and put outfits together. She was developing her sense of self as a young lady. Later at one of the teen meetings, her dad mentioned how she was one of the cool kids. Her self-confidence really grew from when I first met her. I was so proud of her and her resilience. CASA has been a wonderful journey for me. I'm so grateful for the impact that we made on this family's life. I got to witness a transformation. We gave the family a hand up that they needed. The father would often ask us for advice. It was always clear how much he loved his 3 girls. We made sure that they had what they needed, checking in with them and their teachers and therapists regularly. None of this would have been possible without all of you. Thank you so much for supporting the CASA's Children's Fund. I remember middle school and trying to fit in and how clothes were such an important part of it all. Thanks to your generous donations, you helped my middle school girl fit in and not feel different.
Yeah, that's a really great story, thank you. I had a whole speech, but I can't say it, so we're gonna move on. It gives me great pleasure, oof, I'm not gonna stop crying yet. It gives me great pleasure to welcome up our next speaker. Long before I came to CASA, CASA had the privilege of supporting this young lady as a child, and then as an adolescent. We had the privilege of having her be a speaker at a number of our events and in our video. And then the Children's Fund allowed us to offer this young lady an internship at CASA, and she was an intern for us for about 18 months, knocked it out of the park. We loved having her there so much. When the internship was up, we said, no, we're hiring you as a staff. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Connie Ramirez up to tell you about
Hello everyone, my name is Connie Ramirez. I have been in the foster system since the age of 5. There are various times that CASA has helped me throughout my life, but I would like to share a specific story with you. A time when trust was broken in my life again. A time I felt like I didn't have much. I was a young mother with a 2-year-old son, being kicked out of her foster home, not knowing nowhere to go. I was scared. I was worried. Luckily, I was able to find a home. I moved from Santa Cruz to Watsonville, but that is when the Children's Fund CASA was able to help me with me to be able to find a dresser, a mattress, plates, cups. It was a whole new beginning for me. I did not know how to live on my own. And it was a really great support, really good help that I received from them, and I was very grateful to receive. This also goes to the story of me wanting to finish high school. I still had a year left, and I was going to Santa Cruz High at the time. And I was living in Watsonville. Transportation was very hard for me. I would wake up very early, get myself ready, get my son ready, go and get the bus from my home to the Watsonville Metro, go to the Watsonville Metro to go to Santa Cruz Metro, and walk all the way up to Santa Cruz High. And that is when I mentioned to my CASA that I wanted to get a car. I needed help because it was too hard for me. And CASA helped me buy my first car. That to me, I don't know how to give that thank you back to you guys. You guys, it was an overwhelming moment for myself. It was a moment that I got the help that I needed, and I was able to trust and knew that CASA had been a consistency help for me, and that I knew I could reach out and help, because it's very hard for me to ask for help in general. So thank you so much for that. I was very happy, and with that help, I was able to graduate Santa Cruz High early. And therefore, I would just like to thank CASA and the Friends of CASA for everything that they've done. Like Lynn said, they also helped me start this new role at CASA. I started as an internship. And even applying there, I was very nervous. And I told myself, this is something I could do. But I pushed myself to do it. And I had the support of Wendy, my CASA. She has always been a person that I know that I could trust, that I know that I could go to. She was a person in my life that was there and that never left my side. She saw me as me. She listened and and she gave me the support that I needed. And all of the friends also did, the organization itself, CASA, what you guys have given me, the opportunity, the chance to be heard. And now I'm an advocate supervisor, court liaison for CASA, and I wouldn't be here without all of your guys' support. So thank you, the bottom line.
It has truly been an honor and privilege to be able to support Connie in her journey. She is a wonderful, wonderful person who is now in our judge's courtroom as a professional. Never seen